everyone. So today we'll discuss about coagulation of blood. So it is a topic of physiology. So today's topic is coagulation of blood. So starting with its definition, so definition says that when the blood is shed, it loses its fluidity in a few minutes. And sets into a semi-solid jelly. So this phenomena is known as coagulation of blood. It's also known as clotting. So I will repeat it once again. So when the blood is shed, it loses its fluidity. Fluidity is the capacity to flow, that too in few minutes, and it sets into or converts into a semi-solid jelly-like substance. So this phenomenon is known as coagulation or clotting. Now, mainly this phenomenon of coagulation, it involves the phenomenon of coagulation involves primary hemostasis and secondary hemostasis. So the term hemostasis, it means the process of stoppage of bleeding. Just write here. So the word hemostasis, it means the process of stoppage of bleeding. Now, in primary hemostasis, what will happen? So, here the platelets, they adhere or stick to the vascular wall forming a platelet plug. And the process up to this stage, it is known as primary hemostasis. Processes up to this stage is known as primary hemostasis. So primary hemostasis, what it says, that the platelet, they adheres or stick to the vascular wall, forming a platelet plug, and the process up to this stage is known as primary hemostasis. So it is a part, or these are mainly the two parts in the process of coagulation. So this is the primary hemostasis. Then comes the secondary hemostasis. So here there is mainly formation of fibrin. The formation of fibrin clot by interaction of clotting factors which is aided by enzymatic reaction. So this is known as secondary hemostasis. Secondary hemostasis. So once again, starting with the definition of coagulation. So when the blood is shed, it loses its fluidity in few minutes and it sets into a semi-solid jelly-like substance. This phenomenon is known as coagulation, or it is also called as clotting. Then the phenomenon of coagulation, it mainly involves two processes. There is primary hemostasis and secondary hemostasis. So primary hemostasis. So what is hemostasis? The process of stoppage of bleeding. Then primary hemostasis, what will happen? The platelet, they will stick to the vascular wall and they will form a platelet plug. And the processes up to this stage, this is known as primary hemostasis. Secondary hemostasis, when the formation of the fibrin clot is there by the interaction of the clotting factors. We'll study later about the 13 clotting factors. This clotting factor is mainly aided by the enzymatic reaction. Now this whole process is known as secondary hemostasis. Basic facts about mechanism of blood clotting. This was being given by Paul Morwitz. So in 1905, he consolidated the theory that thrombin is generated by presence of tissue factor. So Paul Morwitz, so in 1905, he consolidated the theory that thrombin is generated by the presence of tissue factor. So what mechanism did he give? So there's a rough idea. So first step, so when the blood sheds the platelets, they disintegrate and they will liberate thromboplastin. And sometimes this thromboplastin is also derived from injured tissues locally. This is the first point. When the blood sheds, the platelet, they disintegrate or degenerate and they liberate the thromboplastin. Now this thromboplastin, at some extent, they are also derived from the injured tissues locally. This is the first point. Second point says that this thromboplastin it converts prothrombin into thrombin with the help of calcium ions. So what the second point says, that this thromboplastin, it will convert the prothrombin into thrombin with the help of calcium ions. Then the last point. Now this thrombin it interact with fibrinogen. This fibrinogen it converts into fibrin. So this is the basic concept. Fibrinogen converts into fibrin with the help of thrombin. So revising again. So when the blood sheds, the platelets disintegrate and they liberate thromboplastin. Now some extent of the thromboplastin is also derived from the injured tissues locally. Second point, this thromboplastin, it converts the prothrombin into thrombin with the help of calcium ions. Lastly, the product, that is thrombin, it interacts with fibrinogen. This fibrin, it forms fibrin or converts into fibrin. So this is the basic mechanism of blood clotting, which was been given by Paul Morawitz.